What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Boiler Room Alert. So today we're going to actually talk about the stock AYTU and why I think this is a really good penny stock to buy right now. I do believe that AYTU, or we might see AYTU start to take off here in the next day or so. Few days, we're already starting to see it take off now. So I'm going to go through a pretty in-depth analysis on the stock AYTU. We're going to touch on the stock AKER, and then from there we're going to actually kind of jump into AYTU, show you why I think it's a good buy. So for right now, a lot of my members, I'm telling them that this might be a good stock to watch. I think it really is. So I want to bring it to your guys' attention, let you know that this looks like a pretty good stock to keep your eyes on here for the next week or 2 weeks or so, because I do believe we're going to start seeing it take off here soon. So let's start sharing the screen. So first, we're going to look at the stock charts. We're going to look at some news on the stock. And then from there, we're going to take a look at the stock's website. And then we're going to go into some filings, talk about that for a little bit, and then maybe come back and answer some questions at the end. So once again, thank you guys all for tuning in. For the questions, we're going to save them till the end of the video. But let's jump into it, start sharing the screen. So once again, stay tuned, keep your ears open. There's going to be a lot of information. Which screen do we need? Screen. There we go. All right. So right now you should be looking at two stock charts. Okay. So the two stock charts here are AKER, which is right here, and AYTU. So we're going to look at AKER and kind of look at what it's already done. And then we're going to look at AYTU and kind of judge what I think is going to happen, which is similar to what we've seen on AKER. All right, so for some of you that may be new or just joining in, you don't know anything about the stock AKER, let me just say that this is a stock that for the past couple months has gone up like 400, 500, 600%. So quite a bit, right? We've had a nice run on AKER. So let's talk a little bit about the stock AKER a little bit more in depth. So this stock is up right now. Probably it's somewhere around like 600%. Okay. Back in the day, a couple months ago, it went through like a secondary offering, and then the price went all the way down to 12 cents. You can see it right there, all the way down to 12 cents. So a really, really low price, all the way down to 12 cents. All right. So if we go back in time to the news and we look at the news, on this day, it was like the 5th or the 9th, right in here. And again, I did an in-depth video on AKER. So if you want to learn more about the stock AKER, I suggest going back to a video I made just a few days ago, talking about a pump and dump with AKER. That'll give you a really good in-depth analysis, and you'll be able to kind of catch up on this stock. So not too long ago, the stock started popping up right here. And you can also see the volume started increasing. So right around this time, there was a news release that Bigger Capital was doing a public share offering. That's when the price got really low. And then there was also a filing for a 13G from Bigger Capital. This showed that this Bigger Capital company had an 8% stake in the company. The volume started to increase, and that's when AKER started to really take off. And then since then, it's been on a completely steady uptrend, nice grind. There's been a few different news releases coming out saying that they're signing deals, making agreements, and so on and so forth. So since the secondary public offering and the big buy up by Bigger Capital, this company's been on the up run, and it's been looking very bullish ever since. Okay. So again, you can come into here and in the news filing section, in the news section of Thinkorswim, you can even look it up online. You can come down here and you'll see that right here on 1/2/18, Bigger Capital is reporting an 8% stake in AKER Bioscience. And if you continue up, if you look, you'll see that their price had gone up ever since that day. On 1/2, the stock started to move right in this time period when it started taking off. So we're not here to talk about AKER, but we're more or less here to talk about the stock AYTU, which is on this side of the screen, the right side of the screen here. So let's go ahead and zoom in. As you can see, AKER was $6.82 a few months back. Now it's all the way down, and it's all the way at a price of, it was 33 cents. Now it sits at a price of about 57 cents today. It's already looking very bullish with this nice uptick and kind of run it's doing. And if you go in the news, you'll find something that's very, very interesting. So if you go back in the news all the way to 3/2, so at the very beginning of this month, or sorry, on 3/1, the 1st of March, there was a press release here that says AYTU Biosciences announces a 12,000 share or 12 million share public offering. Right here. Let me map it off for you guys. Yeah, so right here, you'll see that they did a $12 million public offering right there. And if you keep going up the news, you'll come to see, where is it? Where is it? Right here on 3/8. This is the last piece of news that this stock has gotten in March. The last one on 3/8 was a Benzinga news report saying AYTU Biosciences 13G files 13G from bigger capital. Fund shows a 7.4% stake in the company. Remember over here, let me go down a little bit on AKER. Where'd it go? And let me take this off 1 second. So if you look over here on AKER, you'll see that the AKER Bioscience did a public offering on 12/18, $6 million public offering. Not too long after, on 1/2/18, Benzinga files a report from Bigger Capital showing 8% stake in the company. The company starts going up. Over here on AYTU Biosciences, they do a $12 million public offering. Announces a closing of a $12 million public offering, and then also Benzinga reports that Bigger Capital shows a 7.4% stake in the company, and that was done on 3/8. Where was 3/8? 3/8 is right. Let's zoom in and find out. 3/8 is right there. This is the day of 3/8. That day right there is 3/8. And ever since then, what do you notice? The volume has increased, and now the price is starting to go up. I mentioned this stock over a week ago in my video regarding AKER, and this is the video to recap why exactly I think it is a great buy right now for a penny stock. Right now, it's only 50 cents, so we definitely have room to run all the way up into $1, and that's exactly where I think this stock might be heading, is up to $1 and potentially higher, but we will see. It's too soon to say, but right now, everything is pointing to a very, very bullish chart. All right. Next, I do want to say something here. We're going to go into the websites. We're going to go into the websites of these two companies. Just give me a second here, and we're going to share the other screen. So now I'm going to move over. I'm going to show you a different screen where we're going to be looking at the websites, and then we're going to go into, and I'm going to basically show you how you can look for filings on company websites. So we're going to go into there. We're going to show you that Bigger Capital filed for 13Gs, and basically right after they did that, these stocks tended to go up. So let's go ahead and share a different computer screen here. So right now we're going to be looking at the websites, right? You should be seeing the websites. All right, so you have AKER Bioscience and AYTU, okay? So looking at, oh, it's going weird. It's being weird. Okay, we had to stop sharing. It was doing something really weird. I don't know what that is, but we'll bring it over here to this screen. All right, so let me bring these over. Okay. So sorry about that. I got a little weird there for a second. All right, on to the next line of business, which is looking at the website. So if you were to go to AKER Bioscience, you can go up here to the Investor Center, US SEC filings, click that. From here, you can search for a 13G because that's what we were talking about earlier. The files or the filings for 13G are what were done with bigger capital. And if you're to come down here to January 2nd, which is also the date that it was released on Thinkorswim's platform for news, is that AKERS Bioscience files a 13G showing bigger capital with an 8% stake in the company. Come down here, open up their 13G filing. You scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll come to find that it is in fact true that it was done by Bigger Capital Fund LLC. So that is legit. We come over here to AYTU, True Financial Filings, view all filings, and then you would come in here and you'll search for a 13G. So we'll do form type 13G. It was done very recently. 3.8, I believe it was 3.8. Open up this one, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see that it's done by Bigger Capital. So you have Bigger Capital here. Oop, that's really bad. So you have Bigger Capital right here, and you have Bigger Capital Fund right here. So two 13G filings. The one on the left is done by AKER Bioscience. The one in the right is for the AYTU Bioscience Company. So two bioscience companies. The last time Bigger Capital got involved after a secondary or a public share offering, the stock ended up running about 600%. AYTU just did a secondary offering. I think it was of $12 million offering, stock offering. Bigger Capital came in and bought up a bunch of it and now holds a 7.4% stake in the company. And the share price is only 57 cents a share. So if you take into consideration what has happened, right? If you take into consideration what has happened before with AKER and what looks like is starting to happen with AYTU, it becomes very similar, and it looks exactly as if this stock is going to start running. Just went through a big downtrend. It completely went through a consolidation mode, and now it's starting to uptrend now. It's starting to look like it's pushing higher. A bunch of volume is increasing. There's signs that are just kind of just pointing to a nice bull run, or as if this penny stock is about to boom. That's just my personal opinion. Those are my findings. All right, so let me get out of here. So again, those are just those are some things that I have found. I did a lot of research on the stock AKER. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check out some of my most recent videos. And just look for the video with the title of AKER, the 800% runner. That's the one I'm talking about. That will go in depth and show you a little bit more about the company AKER and how I have come to find that I think there was maybe some kind of manipulation going on, or maybe it was just all legitimate. It doesn't really matter to me. I've come to see, I found some findings that make me believe that AYTU is about to go through a run like the stock AKER just did. Okay. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post them. I'd love to hear about them, see what we got. Yeah. So again, if you guys have any questions, right now is most likely going to be the time to do it. So just to recap, a few months back, AKER went through a secondary share offering. The price went down to like 12 cents. Next thing you know, a couple days later, Bigger Capital LLC comes in and buys a bunch of shares and reports a 8% stake in the company. And ever since, that company ran about 800%. Moving over, come to find, Bigger Capital is also linked to the stock AYTU. AYTU just did a $12 million public offering. Next thing you know, Bigger Capital ends up filing a 13G, and they're reporting that Bigger Capital has a 7.4% stake in the company, AYTU. And AYTU just went down to a low of about 30 cents. So there's some very similar patterns that are reoccurring right now, and I believe we're just on the move right now. So I think this is the very, very start of something potentially big for the stock. So again, questions now. Let's go. What do you guys have? And let's go from there. So to answer your question, there is no regular place to check for things like this. Okay. You're not going to go to a website and they're not going to tell you, oh, well, this person did this and they're linked to this stock and this stock did this before. And you're going to have to put all these things together yourself. Hence the idea of investigational work. Hence it's, the way I'm putting it is you'll never know what a really, really good company is until you do some serious investigational work. Technical patterns will get you so far. Technical patterns will only get you so far. Most people do technical trading nowadays, but it can only get you so far. Without some really, really deep research, especially if you're doing a long-term investing, without any deep research, looking at financial reports and looking at all those things and putting it together for a really in-depth analysis, you can only get so far with technicals, because fundamentals will always beat technicals in the long term. Okay. So your technicals will only get you so far. So there's no place you could go that's going to tell you all this information. You're kind of just over time and experience, you'll be able to dive deeper, and you just have to learn these things and research them yourselves. Let's see, 1 second. I'm getting a lot of questions. 1 second. So I have never read the book by William O'Neill. Never read that book. Joel, yeah, this is kind of the thing that we try to do every day inside the chat room. Every day inside the chat room, we have, our chat room, we have, live stack scanners going for momentum plays. And we look at plays every single day. We look at the stock market. We try and analyze it and alert people of plays intraday. We're working on an options trading room. So there's a lot of stuff coming. How did I come to find AYTU? Well, basically, how did I get AYTU from AKER is once I found that Bigger Capital had a big investment or a big stake in the company, I wanted to say to myself, well, who's Bigger Capital? So I went and looked into Bigger Capital and started researching what else they're investing in and see if there was any common pattern and link. And sure enough, there was, which led me right to AYTU. So I did see Tesla. Kind of drop down to the $300 area, maybe a little bit below, and I was considering a bounce and some option plays, but I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. I mean, I could definitely do an analysis on Tesla later here this week. For me, AKER is not a buy. I know AKER got 2 really good press releases this morning. Something about closing a deal with Diagnostic Stago, some U.S. distribution agreement with them, closed a pretty big deal. But again, for me, it's still not a buy. I don't think we're going to really I think AKER might hold below the dollar level for at least right now. It showed really strong signs of rejection at the $1 mark today. It popped up there and instantly got shot down. So for right now, technically, there's a lot of resistance at the dollar mark. A lot of resistance. And this could be some fluff. I mean, this could be news. It's just kind of getting pushed out right now. You never know. So for me right now, AKER I think is too high. But AYTU for me is definitely a buy. I have very defined risk. To me, AYTU is a buy for me. With that being said, guys, unless anybody else has any questions, look like we're slowing down on that aspect again. So for me, I'm already keeping a very close attention on AYTU. Do with it what you please. It's looking like it's starting to go. And that's my analysis on it. I think that there's a very common, I think this is a common pattern. I think there is definitely some evidence linking both of these stocks together. And they're starting to look very, very similar. Okay. So we're going to end it there. Share this video with your friends or family, anybody who thinks it would be very useful. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for a pre-market analysis. Alrighty, take care.